Okay, Christmas is a distant memory for many of us, I'm sorry to say, but did the seasonal break get you thinking about your life and work?
Well, for some, the new year motivates them to find a new job or career. But how do you know it's the right move? Performance coach Andrew May joins us in the studio. Hello.
Good morning, Alan.
Morning.
PK.
This whole issue of changing a job or thinking about what you're doing, I guess it really fundamentally depends whether it's a choice situation or not.
Look, I'm sure there's lots of people tuning into News Breakfast this morning, also tuning into that inner voice that we tend to have a break over Christmas, or most people. You two have been holding the fort here. But most people have that break. The end of the year is so busy, and then we have time to reflect with loved ones and family and friends, and that little voice starts. Do I need a new job this year? Is it time for me to branch out and do something different? So this morning we'll discuss when are the legitimate reasons to do that, or maybe some people have a case of the post-holiday blues.
Yeah, because you've got a warning against just downing tools, as it were, and doing something else without thinking too much about it.
Yeah, we've got some of the symptoms up here, PK, and a recent UK survey showed that over 80% of people, when they come back to work, have various forms of post-holiday blues or post-holiday tension. Some of the signs and symptoms include a headache. Maybe it's a headache with the boss or the colleagues that you haven't had to deal with for 3 or 4 weeks. Agitation, lack of interest, a bad mood or a bad attitude. So I know, Ali, when I get back to work for that first week or so after a good break, I won't have the normal attitude. Now, you may not show it, but underneath you're thinking, God, that there must be more to this. Do I have to really do all this? Yeah. So I think that's a strategy when a lot of people come back, is just know there's a buffer of a week or two. And it makes sense, doesn't it? You've had a break. I was at SeaWorld last week and we were leaving, and my daughter said to me in the car, Dad, when I grow up, I still want to be a school teacher, but I also want to be a dolphin trainer. And my son piped up in the back, said, Dad, I still want to be a farmer with greyhounds, and I want to be a jet ski stunt driver. And I thought, how many other people leave SeaWorld wanting to be a dolphin trainer or a jet ski stunt driver? Maybe do the math, see how much you earn on that.
Yeah, but at least your kids have got backup. I like that. They're going for 2 careers
solid
early on.
backup, yeah.
Well, that's what millennials and Gen Z and Gen Y do now, Ali. It's not just one career, they have multiple choices. So I didn't even realise, they're just showing what the stats are.
Yeah.
And look, a dolphin trainer might be a great career choice, but do your homework, actually find out, is this just a passing thing, or do you genuinely need to change careers? And there will be some people who probably should start to make some of those steps. If you're in a job where you're just totally disengaged, if you're in a job where you are not healthy physically or psychologically, I would encourage, and in fact I'd implore people to search what are the options. Can I move reporting lines, or can I get another job?
Is it true though that you've got to be in a job to get a job? Don't jump too early?
Yeah, well, look, the media is probably like this, isn't it? But my friends in the media say when they get really busy, they get really busy. And when they're not doing any work, they sort of start to feel like they're losing momentum. The monkey jumping from a tree philosophy is what some career coaches talk about. Don't jump from one tree to the other until it's close. So for those people who generally are disengaged, if you're not enjoying your job, think about it. We spend more time at work than we do anything else. So it makes sense to at least be partially engaged a lot of the time.
But do you leave your job before you've got another one, is the point? I mean, is it right that employers look upon you differently if you're unemployed?
Yeah, look, I would give that advice to start looking around now and not just leaving, because if you've been unemployed, Ali, for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you can start getting into that serially unemployed, and then people may look at you as, look, why haven't you been working? So I think that is good advice, to stay where you are. Don't make any rash decisions, especially if you have a mortgage, if you have kids and you need to eat and have clothes and everything else. So yes, I would encourage people to look while they are still employed.
I've got a few friends, and I guess we're probably at that age too, where they start to wonder if I don't do something else now, I may never get the chance to do it. But you know, it's whatever job you can imagine that you really might want to do. Say, set up your own business. There's that bridge, isn't there, between having the pay that you've got now and then potentially having the pay doing something else. And you can't get there straight away. Yeah. What do you say to people who's, you know, they might want to build furniture on the side because they love doing it, but they can't quite make a business of it?
Well, they might want to build home gyms like you have.
Yeah, that's right. Fitness. Well, it could be anything. There's something they really want to do, but you've got to maintain your wage because you're potentially providing for other people.
It's a really valid point. And I know more and more people now who have a job on the side. There's a book out recently, which is a New York Times bestseller, called The Side Hustle. So you keep your job as a teacher or a nurse or a police officer and start something on the side. So as Ali was was saying, that's if you're going to get a new job or start a side hustle, I think that makes sense to keep the security, keep the revenue coming in and start something on the side. And I think we've got a graphic on this as well, because more and more people are doing two roles, or they're having what we call a portfolio career. And for a lot of people, if you can't change jobs, if that's not an option, spice up other parts of your life. So do other activities that bring you pleasure or meaning if your job is not doing that day in, day out. Turn your passion into cash. PK, this is what we call the side hustle. So
That's
it could be some woodworking. Look, I know lots of people who've done this. I've got a friend of mine who makes beautiful hats. So at the races every year, she makes these gorgeous hats. She's at the position soon where that can be a full-time opportunity, and she could possibly leave her banking role. Become a jack of all trades. The term we call now is portfolio career. So Ali was onto it with my kids. They want to do multiple things. When I grew up, you do one thing. A lot of people who are transitioning, getting to our level of maturity, we don't retire anymore. We transition. So people might sit on boards. They might have a community role. So they look at lots of different opportunities.
Because there's another point that you make is that, bottom line, yes, you've got to be engaged, but it is work. You are paid for a reason, so you won't always love it.
Yeah, and that's really valid, because this time of year we put our feet up and go, I want to watch more cricket. I deserve to be a dolphin trainer. I wish I was at the beach. A friend of mine, Professor Timothy Sharp, talks about with work, there's three types of work. One is we love what we do. There's a select few people who turn up to work and it's almost like their calling. Every day they click their heels and they love it. The majority is group two. You've got to learn to love it. So there's parts in most of our jobs that we're going, I've got to suck this up and do it because it gives me connection, it gives me self-identity, it gives me opportunities, or gives me money.
Yeah.
And that third group is if, as I mentioned before, if you're unhealthy physically or mentally and you're really dissatisfied, I would look at other opportunities.
I think that puts you in a different camp if it's actually starting to affect you.
But you
personally.
two, you're so happy and
Well,
fresh.
we love what we
you
do.
love what you do.
We're solidly in the second category.
Solidly in the second.
Oh, first category.
First
sorry.
category. I was thinking, come on.
I'm only joking now.
Nice wrap up. Yeah.
Nice to see you, Andrew.
Yes,